Game with K&K. You guys, if you are looking to be energized without coffee or crack, you need to listen to this episode.
Crack.
So,
that is amazing.
No, seriously. We had Jessie Lee on our show. If you haven't heard of her, it's probably because you're not in network marketing, because she is probably the top network marketer in the world.
For a female, I think she's
female for sure. But anyway, she's just a badass. I mean, I kind of knew what I was getting into when they came on the show. This is another fellow Avenger with Kenny. I heard about them on his first mastermind weekend, and I didn't know that they're. I have not met the female version of Kenny, and I actually think she's crazier than.
For sure, yeah.
So.
Crazier. In a good way.
Yeah, no, in an amazing way. She's super energetic, and she is that person. I always said this about Kenny, but she is the person that kind of like brings the energy to the room. Like, she will fill the room with her energy, and she will get you like ready to rock. And that's really what she's known for. So she is a 7-figure earner.
Multiple
7-figure earner. She does network marketing. She is under Prove It. I don't know if you guys have drank it, but it's the keto drink. I don't drink it. Kenny has. Used to drink it all the time, actually. I don't know why he doesn't really, just kind of fell out of it. But it's a super good keto drink. And she is like insane. So now she's pretty much coaching often. She's on many, many different stages, speaking to many, many different people, and I think honestly that was probably what she was.
And she's young.
That's what she was like built to do, though. I mean, she is meant to be on a stage. I think with that kind of energy, she just is.
Yeah, honestly, I met Jessie. I can't remember the exact moment. I was standing there, and she came up because they just threw us all in a room. Nobody knows anybody. I think she knew some people. You start talking, and then you get more comfortable, and then she came over, and she's very confident, which I love, but sometimes you're like, is this girl really this, is she really this badass or this? She's like, no, I'm the number one network marketer in the world. I was like, really? And she goes, yeah, I'm the top 10 or 15 entrepreneur. I was like, what? Really? And then when she walked away, somebody's like, no, that she is the real deal. And we were sitting in a breakout room. Somebody was crazy enough to put us in the same room. And even crazier, we're sitting next to each other, so that was super fun. But if you wanted an honest opinion from somebody, she'll give it to you. If you want a punch in the face of reality, she'll give it to you. If your Instagram page sucks, she'll tell you. But if you also want to get inspired...
Why would you say that? Did your Instagram page suck?
Yeah, she said it was too business. So I was like, sweet. I didn't take it personal. But more importantly, if you want to get inspired, if you want to get motivated, if you want to not quit making excuses of whatever you're doing, but also just learn from somebody that basically came from nothing, had a very tough childhood, and you notice a lot of these people that we keep talking about have something in common where they were forced to say either you pivot and make something yourself, or you're going to end up being homeless or this or that. And so she has a crazy story, but when she walks into a room, she literally owns the room. When she was on stage at Avengers, she is cracking jokes and saying things, but she grabs attention from her crazy outfits to her crazy shoes, her crazy this. She loves cars, but honestly, I loved having her on because to talk about cash flow, this girl is crushing it at the game. She's making stupid money just off of her network marketing business. That doesn't mention anything else going on. And obviously, she's at the Avengers because it's real estate, and she wanted to learn, okay, I need to start getting into the real estate game, even though she wasn't attracted to it. So she's starting to head down that path. But anyways, I would not be surprised this girl in 10, 20 years is like a damn billionaire from building a brand or something. You wouldn't either be surprised.
Absolutely.
Either. But I think I've said enough. But if you guys are sitting down, you might want to strap in. You might want to buckle in tight. It's going to get exciting.
Yep, if it's like nighttime and you're trying to wind down, I'd probably hit pause until tomorrow morning. But anyways, you guys, before we get into it, if you really enjoy our show, you need to like it, subscribe, write a review, share it with your friends, share it with your family, share it with strangers. I don't care. Just share it. So that way we can continue to bring you guys more value, get better guests, and do this thing. Okay. Okay, Jessie Lee, thanks so much for coming on today. I know that you and Kenny met at the Avengers Mastermind. I have not had the chance to meet you, but I've definitely stalked your Instagram, and I know you are a huge personality. You have a shitload of amazing 5-star reviews about what you do and who you are, and like you have like a cult following. So we are so excited to have you on.
Yes, I know. I was like, whoa. But before we start, I have to say how we met. I don't remember exactly, but I love it though. I was like, we were at the little shindig. I remember I was by the bar, and then I don't know how like you came over or something. We were talking. I remember she was just like, I'm like the best network marketer. I'm the badass podcast. I'm the shit. And I was like, in my head, I was like, is this real or like? Because people say that.
Say it like that.
Okay, for the record. I'm kidding. Go ahead.
It was something like that. And she's got this like, crazy bling bling out, whatever. And then I remember I talked to me. They're like, no, she really is the shit. And I remember like we were in our breakout room, and she's like numbers and this, and I was like, damn, this girl is literally the boss lady. You are the shit. So like you back it up by actually doing shit, and because I don't know, I just think it's awesome. So a lot of people talk a lot of stuff, they're all this shit, but there's nothing to back it up there. So anyways, that's how we met, and I think her and I personality, if we're in a room together, it's probably like a little
I
bit.
imagine it's a little wild.
Yeah.
It's definitely exciting.
Yes. So tell us, like, well, Krystle, I know, like, just a little, like, the background, like, but Krystle was like, we were looking you up.
I love to go back and see how people started. So I went way back to the very beginning of your YouTube and like watched the first couple videos. And so I got a little bit of your background, how you grew up, like how you used to work in a lab and somehow were selling like dildos or something. And then you were... I'm just kidding.
Whoa!
I'm just kidding.
And all I did was I googled at-home businesses that make the most money.
And literally like sex toy parties popped up, and I was 22, and I'm like, yeah, I can sell that. Like, why not? It made logical sense to me. I'm like, you get the wholesale pricing, you sell for whatever, blah blah blah. And I was never recruited. I just signed up, and then I became #1 in the world at that. And that's that. But
honestly, we had one of those parties too. I did that in my 20s. It was like the most fun thing, and how about making a ton of money doing something that you're having a blast at, so yeah. Seems very fun.
So why we want to have you on is like Krystle and I are big on like mindset, cash flow, investing, hustlers, people helping people. So when I met you, I remember I came back, I was like, man, we got to have her on because you're a big personality, but you're all about that stuff. That's why we were there at the event. Like, I've never even been to Mastermind. I was like, and I went there and I was like, it's literally you throw a bunch of badasses in a room and everybody's just there for the same thing to give, and they're good people. So that's really why I have you on today. But I gotta ask you, like, what makes you like a badass, and like your name, like what, like it. I know you're confident. Like, why are you a badass? Like, how did you become a badass?
So the first thing I'll say is I love masterminds. I think masterminds are like time machines. So it's like you said, it's a bunch of like-minded people that are really driven and really goal-oriented and really focused, and they just want to get better. And the only way you get better is by getting around people that are better than you. And sure, there were things in that room where I was like, no, I'm the best at this, but you're the best in that room at something, and all these people were totally proficient in whatever. And so for me, like, I love masterminds. That was only the second mastermind that I've ever been to. I'm in another one, but it's more industry specific for me, and I really enjoyed that. So, but how did I become a badass? Okay, nobody literally has ever asked me that. I love it, but I guess they've asked me this in a different way. For me, I truly believe in, this is mindset, I suppose, but everything in life happens for you, not to you. I truly believe that. So I grew up in not an awesome situation. I grew up totally in poverty. I grew up as the kid that couldn't go on field trips. I was the kid where everything was no. I had the no mom, no mom, no mom. I sent my dad to jail when I was 9 years old. I became the leader of my household then. Wow. And so raised my grandparents, and it just, all of this stuff that I thought was the most evil, awful, horrible, whatever, I think it's sort of one of those things where when bad things happen to people, people either go one way or another. Like, it's always an extremity. There's never like, oh yeah, like I survived drug addiction, you know, like, and I'm just gonna chill with my life now. No, like all the addicts I know are like, I survived drug addiction. Let's rip the face off of this, whatever, you know?
Yeah.
Or they end up in jail, you know, or dead. That's like your two options. So I guess that's probably why I just didn't have a great upbringing. I didn't have the, you know, the story of, you know, oh, my mom and dad believed in me so much, and they just always put me in the best classes, and no, not at all. Like, I learned struggle from a very young age, and for a long time in my career choices, everything was driven by why nots. Like, I didn't know why I wanted to be successful. I didn't know what my deep burning why that makes you cry that everyone talks about. I was like, I don't know what that is. I don't cry. I'm a tough woman, you know?
Yeah.
But I knew that I did not want to go back to that. I knew I did not ever want to look at my children and say, no, I know you're really good at soccer, but you can't play. I never wanted to ever, I mean, like, oh my God, like the car I drove when I started as an entrepreneur. I was driving a car that, like, I could hardly get up hills. I would throw it in manual to save gas money to fly down the mountains, you know? Like, I was like the typical poor girl story, and it sucked. It sucked lying to people as to why you couldn't go out to the bar or to dinner or whatever. Like, knowing the only reason you're not going is because you're poor. But, like, you don't want to say that.
Yeah.
And so I think all these bad things ended up being massive, massive blessings to me. If more people would get in the mindset that all of those struggles are just setting you up for your success, you don't have to be a victim, you can be a victor, I think things really shift.
I love that you say that. One of the things that you said that really struck me too is that I feel like, not to kind of generalize this towards women, but I do feel like it's true, is generally, you know, I always used to joke that in sales, men are better at sales because they hit on girls and they're used to hearing no all the time, and eventually somebody's going to say yes. So I'm like, they're good at that. They're great. Girls never want to hear a no. In one of your videos, you said, I'm so excited, like, when somebody tells me no, because that means I can get to somebody who's going to tell me yes faster. And it seems like your whole upbringing kind of brought you to this point of not having a fear of being told no.
Something I say sometimes is I'm like, oh, you're scared of rejection? Like, you don't do sales because you're scared of being told no, or like a no really hurts you? And I'm like kind of sarcastic when I say it, but you know, there's always truth in those things. I'm like, oh, so you're telling me you had an awesome childhood and you got everything you ever wanted?
Yeah.
You literally told me you've been babied your whole life. You don't even know what it's like to struggle. Don't tell me you know what it's like to struggle to where no scares you. You've had it easy. You had a silver platter compared to me. Like, I don't usually say it that aggressive, but like I felt like saying it a little aggressive. You just told me your life is easy. That's why the no bothers you. No literally is just a word to me. It is just a word I've heard many, many, many times, and it's not because I'm ugly. It's not because I'm rejected because of that. It's because I was told no as a young child, and you just kind of become numb to it when you hear it. And as soon as you understand every no gets you closer to a yes, because sales is a numbers game. You can be the most proficient in your skills, blah, 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 blah. You're still going to get told no. And as soon as you understand no, will eventually lead to yes, then you don't care about the no's. Or you at least start to dilute the power you give to the word no.
Were you always this confident?
No.
When was the switch? When was your switch?
I mean, I still have my moments. Like, I was just at a mastermind this weekend and like just kind of checking out this mastermind in Vegas, and I was like, wow, I'm still the weird girl. Like, let's go. I like laugh at weird things. I'm awkward. I have ADHD, so I like shake usually, or like not shake, but like I like am moving something most of the time. Not everybody does that. My brain's really fast, so I'll look around a lot, stuff like that. And I was like, oh, I'm still a weirdo. Okay, cool. Like, let me stay in my weirdo lane. That's fine. I'm fine.
I love it.
But I just think when you start to, it's not even like a confidence thing as much as it's like more people would work on self-love. Like, you're the only you that's ever going to be here. So start loving yourself, even in your imperfections. I teach people to spend time in the mirror. It's just called mirror work. Actually talking to yourself, speaking kindly to yourself, being nice to you. Most people are not nice to themselves. That helps a lot. And my biggest thing for confidence, I tell people to do this, is stop lying to yourself. Like, people get up every day, they're like, today I'm gonna build my business, today I'm gonna join that, today I'm gonna go make those calls, today I'm gonna go to the gym, today, whatever this stuff is, right? They say these things, and then you literally lie to yourself. You go to put your head on the pillow at the end of the day, and you go, oh my God, I didn't do any of it. I didn't join the fitness. I didn't sell the house. I didn't do the podcast. I didn't show up on the call. I didn't do the live video. I didn't make my prospect things. I didn't do my whatever. And then you start to not like yourself. So if more people would say, okay, I can build confidence by saying, I'm going to make 2 calls. And they make the 2 calls. They go, yeah, I'm kind of a badass. I did my 2 calls. Okay, right? Or, okay, I said I was going to do live video. Ooh, I did my video. Let's go. Well, I'm very good, but I did it. Woo! You know, you start to look at yourself differently. You start to look at yourself differently. You start to see yourself differently. And you can build confidence through those little micro actions that we do or don't do every day.
I love that.
Yeah, I love that. That's great.
That's. I think that's. I think you're right. A lot of people, they just. I think the one thing even about me, I just go do. Just go do and let the do the talking, right?
Well, not worrying about it being perfect, like you said, just do it. It might be messy, it might be ugly, it might be stupid, and oh well. Like we see that with people all the time. I think the biggest thing with people making videos or putting themselves out there is that they're embarrassed about what people are going to say about them, and you're like, those people aren't doing what you're doing. Who cares?
I mean, yes, all of that. And first of all, you suck at everything the first time, probably the 100th time you do it.
Yeah.
I did Top Golf the other day. Now I run Top Golf like 6 times maybe. Still bad. Okay. There was this guy who was also Top Golfing, and he's like, every single swing, bro, is hitting it again. Like either it's that 3 bro, or it's like he's bombing it all the way to the end and it's hitting the thing, right? Mine are like, like horrible. And I said, you are really good at this. He said, yeah, it only took about 10,000 strokes. I said, or maybe he said 50,000. He said something dramatic. And I'm like, ugh, well, I don't have time for 50,000 Top Golf strokes. So I'm going to go ahead and be bad at this. And it's just to put in perspective, you're bad at everything the first however many times you do it. Like you don't get good at it right away. People want to only do things they're good at, but a lot of the times the things you're only good at are things that are not serving the world, are not actually going to make an impact, are not going to make an income, and you're just going about your life blah, 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 blah. So understand you're going to suck, and the only way you're going to get to a at least bad phase is you got to suck faster. You got to put in more of those strokes, so to speak, right? Like you got to go and be terrible, and just go, I'm really bad at this, but someday I might get good, and then it comes, but nobody is an overnight success. Like when people are like, I never knew you. Like you didn't know me, Kenny, until 2 months ago or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know you didn't think this, but to you, you could have been like, whoa, where's she been? She's an overnight success. I have been an entrepreneur full time for 10 years before you ever met me. It's not overnight.
Yep.
And I've never been lazy. I've always been a workhorse, so I've been putting in my hours. People need to ask themselves, are you putting in your hours?
Yeah.
Most people.
Yeah, I always tell people, we're in real estate, so they'll meet the guy that owns all the buildings and stuff, and I go, they want to talk to him about his life now. I go, why? He's done. Ask him about when he's 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. He's knocking on doors, collecting rent, doing hammers, painting units, working 18 hours a day. That's what you want to ask. You don't need to ask him about now. I mean, ask him then, and that's what you're saying. Everybody just looks at this, oh, look at her now, but you're like, but you're not going to get here now by focusing on my now. You need to ask what I did the last 10 years,
I mean, that's why I love what Krystle said to begin with, because you can't tell the glory without the story. I haven't talked about those parties or whatever nobody ever asks me about it.
Good job, Chris.
I love it. It cracks me up because, I mean, honestly, one of the big, I'm switching out of this and I'm doing something people take seriously was because of just that. I'm like, I am not going to be confined to this. It's actually a big part of my story. I've not always been a smart entrepreneur. That's a big fat lie. But, I've been sharp for a long time, and I would have conversations with other business owners, call it 6 years ago before I was a network marketer and an investor and all this stuff. And people would be like, you do what? And it would, end the conversation. It was never, oh, she's a killer saleswoman. Oh, that woman's a shark. Oh, she's going to do all these whatever. Nope. I was a joke. I'm like, no more.
It's just kind of a funny, fun story, but then it ends there.
Oh, I don't mind at all. Do not feel bad. I love it. I love it. Don't feel bad at all.
Yeah, no, I get it. I can see where people might not take it seriously, but I mean, the truth of the matter is you were like the top person at the company at the time, right? You sold the most and did the most and all that. Like, where do you feel like the transition was for you from like being broke? And I remember you said your mom told you need to like start doing, you know, something extra to save for your compound interest and all this kind of stuff. And I love it because it's kind of like finance 101, but where do you feel like the shift was for you when it sort of like clicked and you said, this is what I'm meant to do?
Like, this is what I'm meant to do. Oh, geez. I don't even know if I know yet what everything is I'm meant to do. I know I'm supposed to make the impact in the world. My entire life is around service and servitude. Like, that's where I get the most feeling of fullness, joy, and success is from serving people and training and coaching people. I always knew I was weird. We can start there. Like, I knew I was different. Like, people were so excited about their full-time jobs. People were so excited about, you know, going to college. I only went to college because my Nana, I knew she cared. Mm-hmm. You know, education was really important to her. I'm like, oh my God, like, I do not belong here. Why am I going to college? But I went, and I did it. But I knew I was never meant for that. Big pivots, though, happen when I get around big things. So as another example of the mastermind or something like that, I see myself differently when I'm around people who are doing a lot more. So I've had a lot of like big pivotal shifts, and it's always based around like a conversation with somebody, or maybe like the first time I met a billionaire or something in person and had a conversation with them, and I'm like, what am I doing? Like, why not me? You know, those little things. I've definitely had little pivots and things that have shifted like that. But I don't think I ever really knew I would be an entrepreneur because entrepreneurship was not sexy when I started it 10 years ago. It's sexy now. Now everyone wants to be an entrepreneur. That's like the it word. But when I started as an entrepreneur, it was like, you don't have a job?
Yeah.
What? You don't have benefits?
That's pretty good. Oh, gosh.
I got fired from a lab. I was working in a pathology lab as a research assistant, like Krystle said. I was fired, and I was like, oh my God. Like, as I had my little side hustle, I was making like, you know, $1,000 a month doing. I wasn't really taking it seriously. I was like, oh man, I'm not poor anymore. I can afford rent. I can go out with my friends. Like, my car doesn't squeak anymore. No, I didn't have like a new car, but I had like I wasn't making crazy sounds. I was putting gas in it. So I kind of felt like I made it. But again, like life happening for you, not to you. I got fired, and then I went and I applied for other jobs really quickly. And one I really thought I was going to get, they ended up hiring internally after making it through 7 rounds of interviews.
Jeez.
And at this point, my money's starting to get smaller and smaller and smaller because all I've got now is this little side hustle. And I went, oh my God, I need to do more parties. I need to do more influence stuff, like literally right now. Right now. And then it turned into like my next event or party or whatever, maybe I made like $1,700. Like, it was something dramatic enough for me to be like, what? And something I said last night to my sales team, I said, I don't understand why more of you don't take entrepreneurship seriously. Like, more of you are inclined to like pick up a waitressing shift to make $100 than sell one product. You're telling me you can't sell one product in 7 hours of a waitressing shift and you're not killing your body? Then you don't understand, like, your mindset's not there for entrepreneurship. Which, like, not everybody is, which is fine. Now I'm like a random entrepreneurship tangent, but I don't know what the one thing was. I don't think it's been like one thing. I think I've had a whole lot of little like redirects would be the best way to describe it. You know, I never really thought it would be all this, but then I'm redirected here, or redirected there, or redirected, oh look, an investment opportunity, boom. I think sometimes God just speaks to you and tells you what you're supposed to do. Like two of my investments, I was just in Germany and I texted an ex of mine who was here in the States, and I'm like, when I get home, I'm buying everything that I use. Screw this. Anytime I do anything, I don't want to pay for it ever again. So I need to buy a burger shop. I need to buy hair salons. I need to buy med spas. I need to buy nail salons. Like, I was like, I don't know. Like, it was like a download straight from God. And then here I go. And now, you know, I'm
And now you're gonna buy everything. I love it.
I mean, to me, it sounds like everybody. When you got fired, and you got cornered, and you're like look at COVID too. COVID for a lot of people, they had time. They got let go. That's what I tell people. You might never ever get this much time back in your life. If you didn't take advantage of it, shame on you. That I heard people, I'm going to write a book, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. You have all the time in the world. Well, you'll never get that back. Shit. It's crazy.
I think there's two extremes with coronavirus. I think there are the people who just went nuts. Like you're saying. I turned into a content monster. I was like, oh, I can't travel because I'm You gonna lock me in a house? I'm gonna podcast daily. It's gonna be the Jessie Lee show.
There you go.
Lock me down. And there's a lot of people who did that. I don't want to make it sound like I was the only one. And a lot of people started businesses. A lot of people took chance. A lot of people took playing. And then I think the other half, their life is falling apart. And now they're desperate because now it's been over a year and they still haven't done anything except for collect 2 stimulus checks or 3 or however many there are. I don't want to get any of them. So whatever. And they're like, what do I do with my next stimulus check? Maybe invest in a business.
Do you have a mentor?
Yeah, of course.
Who's your mentor? I think you told me about your mentor.
Yes, I have one mentor that is living, and then 2 that are dead. So Jim Rohn and Zig Ziglar.
Oh, Jim Rohn. I love Jim.
Yeah.
You met him?
No.
Oh, you never met him?
Nope. Never met him before he passed away.
He has some of my favorite quotes, by the way.
Which one?
Don't wish things were easier, wish you're better. Don't wish for less problems, wish for more solutions. There might be a
tree, move, yeah. The man is just, I still study him. And I think I still study both of them. And I think people that study the people who have been there, done that, have or had what you want, that's how you get there. It's not by guessing. And then my mentor who is active and living, he's my network marketing mentor, but he's just a monster, is Eric Worre. So he calls me his star mentee. He's like, I've never, ever mentored anybody like you. I tell you to do something, it's done before I can even finish a sentence.
wow.
And I think that's actually the key to success. A lot of time is not overthinking. Yeah, you're going to stumble. Yeah, you're going to fall. Yeah, you're going to make a fool of yourself. Yep, you're going to lose money. You're going to make money. You're going to get laughed at. You're going to have ups and downs, and it's going to be an emotional roller coaster and everything in between. But if you're willing to act in the face of adversity, if you're willing to act when most people won't because they're too scared, if you will accept change as a necessary evil that turns into something beautiful, you win. But most people sit there and they go, yeah, that looks good. Yeah, it sounds good. Sounds like something I should do. Let me write that in my notebook. And then what do you do with that? But you've got stacks and stacks and stacks and notebooks full of literally billions of dollars, and you don't make any money because it collects dollars. Drives me crazy.
I agree with that. Yeah, one of the things you were saying too, I was listening to a podcast recently and it was really good, is like you said, there was a point where you felt like, hey, I can afford the gas in my car and I can do all this stuff. I feel like I'm pretty good. Like I pretty much made it. But then you kept putting yourself in rooms of people that made you look really small compared to the accomplishment that you already had. And I feel like a lot of people want to stay in that room where they're the man on top because that feels good and it feels comfortable. And every time you go to a room of people that are bigger than you, you feel bad about yourself, and then you don't end up moving. So it feels like, so you're just that person who thrives off of people who are bigger, better, badder than you at something and up your game every single time.
Yeah, I mean, you can learn from everyone, first of all. But second of all, the limit does not exist. The limit literally doesn't exist. And I thank God for this book. I don't even know if it's actually even that good of a book, but it's the book that probably changed my life the most. It's not my favorite book, but it changed my life the most. You don't even have to buy it. I'll just tell you the concept. It's called Secrets of Six-Figure Women by Barbara Stanny. I probably sold 40,000 of these books. She's probably wondering why she sells so much. I stumbled upon it like 6.5 years ago. And there's this part of the book where she's talking about so many people, they have some level of success. Like everyone has some level of success. And if you look at that success as like a ledge, people hold on to it because they're so scared to let go because they don't know what's over here. But what will happen more often than not is when you let go of a ledge, you fly. And I remember reading that, just that one passage. I mean, the book, I guess, is full of like ideas for people who want to earn 6 figures a year or more. But I remember sitting there and going, oh my God. Like, am I holding on to, I was at the time, you know, in my early 20s, making $175,000 a year, thinking that I was like, bullshit, right? I was not, right? But I remember being like, oh my God, like, I've got it going on. Like, this is, oh, I'm great. And then I went, what if I'm holding on to $175,000 a year, but if I let go, there's so much more out there. And then I made one life pivot that was into the different profession, the network marketing profession. And then I went to an event that you were probably referencing, and he's got people standing up if they're making, $100,000 a year, and then stay standing for making 200, stay standing for making 500, 750, 800, 900, million. And in this room, the room only had 400 people in it, maybe, and there were still like 100 people standing at $1 million a year, and I'm like, what? What? And then he goes, is somebody in this room, has anyone in this room made $100 million in lifetime earnings in this profession? I went, no way. Like, what is the freaking Tomb Raider here? Like, come on, is this, like, really? Like, is some, like, ancient, like, 400-year-old person here? Yeah, $100 million. And sure enough, in the back of the room, this man is standing there making $105 million in 30 years. And I went,
Jesus.
what? And that's just in that. That's not his investment.
Yeah.
He had this is 5 years ago now, he had $105 million to invest in 30 years. And I went, what am I doing with my life? And I shut up, because sometimes I can be chatty. I shut up. I did not talk the entire event. And I said, whatever that man says to do, if he says that that's the guy you learned it from, I'm going to do it. And I did.
How fast did you make your 100 million?
That was pretty good.
It didn't take 30 years, I'm guessing that.
It's not going to take me 30.
No.
No way. It was my first. So I went, just for some perspective, not in this company anymore. The company I'm telling you the story with anymore, and I'm not going to make like a bunch of income claim or anything like that, but that's like the number one thing you can't do in my profession. You'll get destroyed by the FTC. But at the time when I met him, I was making like $33,000. That was my biggest month. I made $33,000 that month. It was 25, 26. I'm like,
yeah.
And I implemented all that stuff and saw the same guy 9 months later, and had just cashed a check for $209,000 a month. And this is 5 years ago. And I was like, and he was like, what did you do? Like everything he said to do.
Yeah.
Then I went through a big termination. Big termination was crazy, dramatic, blah, blah, blah. Started from literally zero, brought over nobody into a new business. I won't make the income claims, but I'm making way more than the $200,000 a month.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I love it.
I'm getting there.
I
I'm
love
gonna
it.
get there. I'm gonna catch him in his hundo boodoo.
Nice.
I'm gonna get him.
Not that you always want to constantly be rebuilding, but it is really cool to hear that, like, you just don't have that fear. I mean, I'm sure there was some level of fear, maybe a little bit, but you just kind of jump right in and start from the bottom up again. I think that's probably a big fear of most people. They start in a career and they stay in something that maybe isn't right for them or that they don't love because they don't want to start over again. I mean, that thought of being the little guy again at the bottom of the totem pole is so scary for most of us.
I think one of the most important things that builds character and leadership is being humbled. I think you need to remember what it's like to be nervous and new and scared and feel like your life is falling apart. Because then when you're trying to coach new agents or whatever through it, you're like, dude, I know exactly what it's like. It sucks, doesn't it? It sucks, man. But I've been there. And I remember it. So let's talk about it. Let's talk it through.
I'm guessing I was going to ask you a question what's your biggest change in your life with your success? But I feel like I would answer one thing for you and say that your biggest thing is that you're able to get back to people that are in that position saying, dude, trust me. I just, if you just listen to me and you do what I do, you can change. I'm not going to change your life, but you can change your life by just doing these things. And it's like you can lead the horse to water. But I don't know, I just get that from you. That's one of the big things is it's nice when you're successful because a lot of people will listen to you and they'll pay attention because they want the moolah, but a lot of them don't want to do the work. But there will be some people who do it.
Yeah, one of my favorite quotes somebody said, from my Lisa, she says, I will help you build your business. I won't do it for you, but it's here. Like, if you want to do this, it's here. I will help you build your business. You got to build it. And, I mean, it's always the best. The best is watching other people succeed. The best is knowing you've had an impact on somebody's life. I mean, that's the real legacy. Money's great. It's just a tool, though.
Yeah.
You know, I can't spend the money I make anyway. I try. Not like on stuff, but like I try. I invest so much because I'm like, legacy. But the real legacy is, I haven't said this quote before, I've heard this before, but there's 2 times you die. One, when your body physically leaves the earth, and one is the last time somebody says your name.
That's good.
Yeah.
I like that.
I have not heard that before.
I have heard that one time. What do you like? So I want to talk about network marketing because that is your primary thing.
Yep.
So I think there is. I don't know. We were talking about today. I think there's like a bad stigma with network marketing, but I think it's.
Yeah, we've got like a black eye.
Yeah.
That's what I call it. I'm like, this network marketer's got like a black eye.
But I feel like the stigma is because, like you said, is people join, they get rah, and then when it goes to do the work, they're like, yeah, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll put it in my notebook. But from people that have success or not in your industry, that you're coaching, like what do you think is like when somebody just makes a change? What is the biggest deal? Like what's the biggest I don't even know how to say it. Like what's the biggest struggle people have to get over?
So, first of all, the reason network marketing is a bad rap is because people don't understand it. Is the first thing. Second thing is most people don't do network marketing to be full time. Like I didn't do it to be full time. I did it for year money, basically, and rent money, right? So when people are like, "Oh, I looked at the income disclosure, and most people make $100 a month," I'm like, "That's $1,200 a year. That's the never full that the wife can buy without asking for her husband's money." It's just a different perspective when you see it from that. The other thing is it used to be pretty scammy, I'm not gonna lie. Basically, I feel like I'm repairing the damage done by the old heads of network marketing past. Honestly, because it used to just be recruit people to 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 recruit people, and you just hurt everyone. People didn't want to coach them, they didn't want to mentor them, they didn't want to teach them, they didn't want to train them. I run it like a business, which is why me, personally, my organization is destroying network marketers anywhere else. You can put me against any networker in the freaking world. I will crush you. Because I have systems for everything. I don't run this like a little, no. Me, you join me, you got onboarding, you got scripts you have to follow. You have shortcuts in your phone you have to set. It's a business, it's not an option. You have to go live. I will teach you and train you how to do so. I have systems, but you have to do it. There's an onboarding robot through ManyChat you have to do, or you do not get coaching calls. You do earn coaching calls. I will coach you. I will mentor you. I will train you one-on-one, but you must earn them. There are also daily trainings, daily meetings. It's ridiculous. I run it like a freaking multi-million-dollar business because it's a multi-million-dollar business. I mail out incentives. I run contests. I do everything that the CEO okay, honestly, I was this because I the guy who worked for Best Buy one time. I went to the Best Buy incentive whatever thingamajobby in Orlando 3 years ago, and literally you meet the CEO, blah blah blah. I do more for my salespeople, me, than freaking Best Buy, which is doing 40 billion a year or something.
Yeah.
Those people are underpaid, underappreciated. They get a dingy trip to Orlando, Florida. They get little oh, you get a discount on your TV, And those people think that's not a scam. I just gave away a $3,500 Louis Vuitton bag last night on a raffle. All you had to do was sell $270. Shut up. Don't talk to me about my profession. Own it. You cannot come at me. You can't. I mean, I know you're not.
Yeah, no, I know. No, I get it.
But that's why it has the bad rap, and I think if more people would treat it like the business it actually is, instead of like it is a hobby, more people would see it for what it really is. When people say stuff like, oh, you hurt normal people, they don't say it to me. But if you did, I was that person. I was that girl. That thank God there was something like this, because I was literally renting a room in a basement. And if I listened to the person who said, oh, those are scams, oh, those don't work, oh, those hurt normal people, oh, those are they prey on innocent women, note my quotation marks, because this is like, these are like their typical lines, they're preying on innocent women, then I wouldn't have this life. I wouldn't be able to train and coach and mentor all these successful people that I have. I wouldn't be a successful accredited investor. I wouldn't own all these brick and mortars. I wouldn't know you. That mastermind wasn't $1, Kenny. Okay? Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't know you, Dan.
Yeah.
Okay? My life would look totally different if I hadn't let those people, convince me. So I am that girl. I am the person that got, scammed and bamboozled. Ooh.
I love it.
Like crazy. I mean, but you can make excuses for anything. Anybody can find an excuse for anything.
Well, and there's like scammy businesses in any industry. I mean, it's not generalized like that. It's not just network marketers. It's like, yeah, there's probably been companies, there's been people, but it's not the industry.
Correct.
So let me read this thing here. Here we go.
Uh-oh.
So I was jealous today, which is a good thing. I was like, damn, she has so many 5-star reviews on her podcast, which we're going to talk about next. And this is the things I get. Energy, inspiring, intoxicating, passionate, real deal, hilarious, tells it like it is, changed my life, mentor, amazing, fire, spirit animal, my gosh! So apparently, people are not attracted to you at all. They just do not like you. You just suck. But anyways, I wanted to talk about, Krystle, I know, listen to your podcast. I remember Krystle, I love her because she's really critical. So I like, hey, go check this out. And Monty over here, that's on our team, is like, yes. So if I want to be criticized, I just ask Krystle to give me her opinion on me, and she'll criticize me, trust me. That's what I love about my wife. And so I was like, what do you think? She's like, wow, that was like really good. I was like, I told you. So anyways, can you talk about your podcast, how long you've been doing it? I know you're like top podcast, just like you're the top network marketer, but why you do it, what people get from it, stuff like that.
Sure. So, first of all, thank you. I appreciate you guys. It's really nice. I'm glad I'm the real deal to you. Thank you, Jesus. Woo! Amen.
Hallelujah!
Just making sure. No, the podcast I've been doing for a little over 2 years now, and I started doing it because I put it on a power list with Andy Frisella. Like, I don't know if you've ever listened to his podcast, but he has like 107, write down your 5 things. I bought the journal, the whole 9, yeah? And I wrote down and I knew I wanted to do it because Gary Vaynerchuk had been talking about his podcast on his podcast. Like, oh, everyone should do audio. And I'm like, oh, okay. And one day I needed a 5th thing, and stupid me, ended up being smart me, but I put record a podcast. And I had been putting this off for so long. I have such a big personality. It translates very well in audio anyway, because I make funny sounds and blah, 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 whatever. So I bought all the right stuff. I bought the microphone, I bought the headphones. Like, I have like a mixing table, like as if I'm like a DJ. Like, I don't know. I bought all this stuff. It's still not open. Almost 3 years later. Like, I will never forget, it was 3 o'clock in the morning, and I put it on the power list. I don't like to lose, probably much like the 2 of you. And it was 3 in the morning, and I just put my back up against a wall in my office, and I sat on the floor, and I downloaded an app, and I recorded into a phone. And I tell you what, I am still 346 or something episodes later recording from my iPhone. I do not use a microphone. I do not have any technology. There's over 3 million downloads now. I don't know how many 5-star reviews there are. And
1,600.
Is it?
On Apple, there's 1,600. Just on Apple.
Wow.
Just saying.
That's so cool.
Just letting you know.
Yes. Thank you for your reviews. So cool. I just want to lead with value. You know, I've never ran an ad for it. I've never done anything. I just said, hey, I know how to build big business. So if you think that somebody else wants to learn how to build a business from nothing into something big if they want to, then just screenshot it and share your story. And people loved it. So I just think it matters what you're putting out. It's going to be bad at first, like I already talked about, but eventually it'll get good. It continues to get better, I think. And I was learning a little bit from, I was in a conversation with Lori Harder, whose podcast crushes mine. I think it's like 28 million downloads. But she was talking about, she's like, relaunch it. So I got to figure out exactly what she meant by it, because she said, like, I think maybe you could upload a new season or something, and then it'll rank at the top of iTunes. Because I'm like 11 or 13 or something in the world for entrepreneurship, but it's not like a trending thing because it's older, you know? So
yeah.
they only like up when it's like new and upcoming. She said do like a big giveaway, maybe I'll do like an iPad giveaway or I don't know, whatever people want. And yeah, but I've just committed to it, and I think that's the key to anything is it didn't take off for a long time. Felt like I was just recording a podcast and it sucked. I was like sitting on the floor of my kitchen recording crap, or like, you know, just very inconsistent with it. And then honestly, it exploded during COVID-19 because I said, okay, I'm going to record an episode every single day.
Wow.
That's a big commitment too. I can see why a lot of people put off starting a podcast because it's a lot of work. It takes time. It's commitment, it's consistency, all of that.
So the next thing I think, like, just for us here is like the brand, you know? I mean, I think I want to talk about the brand because obviously we are working on building our brand. You're working on building a brand. I think a lot of people don't realize they started. I think I was listening to something like today or the other day. It was like, you know, people start a podcast, they get 10 in, they're like, I didn't get any love or support, I'm going to quit. Or the brand, and so for me, for the brand is we start our podcast and I just do it. I mean, they're more, this is the numbers, this is that. I'm like, I just keep doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it because every time you do it, you get better at it. We get to have these great conversations, which is obviously what I love about it more than anything. And then I want to ask you, like, why is it so important to have a brand? And if you're going to start a brand, what is your, like, top advice for anybody?
So brands are important because you're able to scale business much faster, period. People are buying, especially in this day and age, from people that they feel like they know, like, and trust, not just from big companies. The more you start to show who you actually are through authenticity, vulnerability, real life stuff, you can create raving fans, those kinds of things. I think it's super important. Now, I think as you go, I'm going down the rabbit hole, but I don't care, I'm going to go down the rabbit hole really fast. It depends, like, if you have something that you then want to sell. So I think everybody should build a big personal brand. And what I mean by something they want to sell is like a company. So if you had your own company, not like sales, products, or anything like that, but like a whole separate entity, I think sometimes you do need to phase out a little bit, maintain your personal brand, but detach from it. Like, if everything were, you know, like if you didn't have Amazon and Jeff Bezos, like Jeff Bezos has his own brand, but Amazon is Amazon, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, he would have a harder time building Amazon as big as it is my opinion. However, going forward with that, the brand is super important. You want to have recognizability. You want to have people that talk about you. As an example, I was literally bullied. You want people who will fight for you, that feel like they're part of the brand, like they have pride around what you're doing, even though they're just your friend. They're just your internet friend or your real life friend. That's really what it comes down to, is they affiliate and associate with that brand, what it is that you represent. Okay? So you have to decide, first of all, what is that? What are your core values? What are all these things? Well, my first core value, and I talk about it all day, every day, is empathy. All of my businesses, every single one of them, my core value, number one, is empathy. Every single one, I will hear you. You are valid. Talk to me. Tell me your story. So for me, I've been doing that for 3 years now. This girl the other day, part of my brand being empathy, understanding, blah, 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 right? I'm late to a call that I told her I'd be late to. I sent the email, right? And she said she's screaming at me in DM, right? Like, oh, you say you're going to show up. Now I see what kind of person you are. For like a free call, mind you, okay? A free call. She's hollering at me. Like, I didn't even post the screenshots. But she's getting on my case. Like, you know there's moms waiting. This is so rude. Like, of you. You know, like, personally attacking me. I'm like, what? And because I have spent so much time showing people who I am, showing people Jessie Lee, showing people the human side when I have the bad days, when I have the good days, when I'm, you know, in a relationship, when I'm, you know, thriving, when I'm driving my cars, when I'm with my dogs, you know, whatever, name it.
When you're the richest homeless person.
Yeah, I'm the richest homeless person. Okay? Like they all know that. They're all waiting for the house. They're all dying. They're commenting on everything. What about the house? What about the house? Have you put another offer on a house? Show me the house. Do a house tour. They're so involved in the brand that is my life. They care. Just like I care about them, and I continually give back to them. I say their names when they're on lives with me. I comment back. Huge for brand building. I comment back. I record videos in the DM. I respond to DMs. A lot of these influencers won't. It's getting crazier every single day. I'm really trying. Okay, but like I'm always involved with people because I care. And so when this girl did this, and I was putting in my story, like, what is going on? Like, a little bit, like, I kind of got triggered. Like, my inner child got a little hurt. People know my past. They know I was bullied because I shared it. I was bullied K through 12, like, badly. So people don't realize how bad their words hurt sometimes. I'm sure she didn't mean it in a malicious, well, maybe she didn't mean it malicious. I don't know. But I put it in my story, and I've never had so many DMs of people that were like, we will. Who is she? Oh my God! Doesn't she know how much you care about people? I cannot. Like, they were there to defend the Bosslee brand. They were there to defend against some little Australian girl who calls herself a leader but isn't smart enough to run a power hour while I'm late. You know? Like, they were there. And so if you want to have a business with longevity, decide what you want to stand for, show up super consistently, and give back. Too many of these influencers or whatever, you know, they always want to talk, show off their clothes, their cars, their houses, their lifestyle, how great they are, but they never want to say thank you for the comment. I see you on the live, thank you. Oh my God, thank you for always commenting on stuff, you know? Or whatever it is, involve people, because without the people, you don't have a brand. You don't have anything. They are the ones who scale it, not me. I didn't write 1,600 reviews for myself on podcast, right? Like, they did that. And so you need to learn to give and appreciate those people, because if you keep ignoring everybody, they will stop showing up for you. I promise.
That's really good advice. I love that. And I agree with you. I see that a lot with influencers where you go and you see that there's like thousands of comments and they haven't responded to one, like every single post. So,
Right.
and you're right. Like, it sucks to talk to a person and not have a response.
So, I want to talk about one of our favorite topics. Is you make money, but what I love about you is you invest your money. You don't piss it away like so many people. What are you doing? So, I was there. She's like, yes. So we were there. It was cool. We were there in a room, and a lot of people like invest. They don't invest. There's people that make money, you know, whatever. So I want to talk about that because that is something. You have a business that cash flows. We love cash flow. But also, tell me about your investing, your strategy, your mindset around it. Like what you're doing now and what you're hoping to do in the future, near future, long term, whatever you want to talk about with investing.
Okay. So, first of all, I would like to point out that anything that looks like it's fancy of mine, I am in a profession in particular where you are often rewarded with gifts. Okay? Because the way it's structured, as an example, I have one person who in the lineage is above me, if you will. She benefits off of all the business I build as well. I mean, Well, I know what she makes, and I won't say it because.
I love it.
She buys me gifts constantly. Like if you see me, I do like some sauce. You met me, Kenny. I like my shoes.
Oh, you love it, girl.
$1,000 shoes. I like my $1,000 belts. I like my $3,000 coats. I like my
Cars.
whatever. Okay, but just because I have it doesn't mean I bought it.
I love
And
it.
I think sometimes people, they don't realize that or they don't think about that. First of all, I don't pay for flights. Like, let's talk about that. You see how much I fly? I'm almost at my million miler for American, and I have not flown on American except ever in my life until 3 years ago. So keep that in mind of how much I travel. I'm almost at 1 million miles.
Wow.
Okay, I travel constantly. I don't pay for flights. And I only fly first class. They buy them. Why? Because I'm a rainmaker. Right? So I say that because people are really out there making a $5,000 check buying a $750 Gucci belt.
Mm-hmm.
They're really out there making 20 grand a month, living in a house that the mortgage is 10 grand a month. They are really out there, making 30 grand a month, driving a Lambo, like all dripped out and whatever, private chefs and, private personal trainers and every new tech gadget that comes out known to man and whatever. Like, not me, man. Not me. And I teach and train people not to be like that because it is all about compounding stuff. It is all about how many streams of income can you have, in my opinion. Now, I didn't really learn, I had heard it before. It never hit me in the face until I was terminated, like I talked about almost 4 years ago. Because that was my big kahuna. Thank God I was living way below my means, but when you lose 200 grand a month, you still lose 200 grand a month.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
Okay? And when I lost the 200 grand a month, I literally was like, oh my God, they owned me.
Mm-hmm.
They owned me. I had no autonomy, and I didn't realize it. Right? Like, I thought I had it going on because I had this big, giant cash flow. Who cares? There's a difference between being rich and being wealthy, and I wish more people understood that. So when I was terminated, that was my one stream of income. Luckily, like I said, I was living way below my means, and so I had plenty of money to then go, start a new business, and I didn't have to freak out about being homeless like I am now or anything like that. Whatever, I'm a comedian, let's go. But as soon as that happened and I started making money again, it didn't take long, because I think there's a financial thermostat. You're used to making a certain amount of money, not taking that long to get back to 200 a month, because that's where my skill set was at the time. And I just started investing like crazy. I said, I'm going to invest in things I understand. I'll write that down. Invest in things you understand. Invest intuitively is one of my number one things to tell people. Invest in people you trust, and think really, really long term. Like really, 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 really long term. I am not the person that wants to. It's cool to think about, taking a swing, hitting a grand slam, making $1 million, and all you did was invest 100,000 or something like that. But for me, it's like I would rather. But never invest money you can't spend. That's another really big one. But for me, it's like I'm 32 right now. I made a lot of money. I've got a lot of stuff going on. I'm super blessed, super thankful. I'm just getting started. I love having all the streams of income I have because I feel more stable knowing that there is a lot of money compounding all around me. So I'll kind of break some of those things down. Investing intuitively. Does it feel gross? If it sounds, it's probably,
Yeah.
go away. Right now, I'm supposed to be at an investment meeting, which I'll go there in a minute. It's fine. I told them I'm gonna be late anyway. Okay? I already know I'm not investing because the person who pitched it to me the first time gave me the yuck. Do you know what the yuck is? Everyone knows what the yuck is,
Yeah.
right? The thing that happens, Krystle understands, okay? It's like when you're dating a boy and this is not you, man. Dating a boy, okay, and they say something or do something and you're like, ew. Right? It's not, you can't even explain it. It's like a feeling. Your gut's like,
I had a lot of that. Yeah.
did he really say that? Did he really just, what? Huh? And in dating, you're just like, yeah, I'm not going to want to date with him anymore. anymore, or like you're gonna break up with him, or whatever it is. But so many people get so caught up in the story, they forget that feeling of ugh, and they still invest. If you get a yuck feeling, goodbye. There are plenty of other investments. There are plenty of other, this is the one, this is gonna be the one. You know what, look, like no, it's probably not. It's not gonna be the only one, so tell them to shut up, okay? Investing long term, what I mean by that is not only an investment that is like long term, but also my biggest play is when it comes to this, is I like to invest with people. So like this pod of people that we invest a lot of the same investments, we don't share investments with each other that we don't think we will continue to win off of. Because then we win together or we lose together. Well, we all want to win together, so we do a lot of vetting before we invest in anything, and then it's something we all understand. Then I said, only invest in things you understand. Okay, so for me, I mean, I know what I know. All of you know something about something. There's a reason I haven't gone crazy in real estate. I still don't understand enough of it. I'm a little whatever. Me, when people are talking about multifamily, I'm like, that's so not sexy. Like,
Nope.
and like, make your own, no. Oh my God. Like, I'm like sitting there and I'm like, yeah, see, that's for you. Not everything has to be for you. You have to learn how to sift and sort in your mind. For me, like, I hear about luxury villas in places in the world that I want to be, and I can learn how to Airbnb them, and then my brain goes creative places that make sense to me. That's where I invest. Not the stuff that just because somebody else is making $1 billion off of it, do I have to invest in that? You need to make choices that make sense for you. Because otherwise what's going to happen is you're going to make a bad decision, someone's going to be able to lie to you about it, you're not even going to know they're lying to you about it because you're not invested enough in it, like mentally invested, or emotionally invested, or whatever it is, personality invested, and then you're going to piss away a bunch of money. A bunch of money. But I invest in stuff that I have fun with, stuff that I like to use. I invest with friends, people that I trust. But that's another good one. Don't just invest with friends. Like, I create friendships. I should kind of specify that. Sometimes you'll let friends talk you into things that you should say no to. That's definitely a big one. But just long term, I mean, I have so much liquid coming in every month. So I try to make an investment every month. Or, like, as an example, I have one that actually, it's like a multi-million-dollar investment play, but it's one that I can't give you more information than that, but it's like so perfect for me. It's perfect for me. It's like perfect for me.
Yeah.
So that one will be one that I'm not going to invest for a couple of months in something, but then there will be like a big gigantic thing that will pay me for literally generations. So I don't know. Those are some of my tips, but diversify yourself in general, but only with things that you understand. And I also like to say, don't diversify too early. There's a lot of people who make like their first 10 grand or something, and they just
Think they're an expert at everything?
like I always tell people to stay really focused until you're making like 10 grand a month in something and you don't even have to think. And then you can start to kind of like, at least look around.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, you're like super diverse with your investments, and you make it seem like so cool and so fun and exciting. I think that's matches. Yeah, it definitely matches your personality. So it's cool to hear your perspective and how you could actually diversify once you do get confidence. You make everything sound really fun. I love it.
2 more questions. This one's easy. Favorite book?
Okay, this is weird, but I mean, I'll give you a business one too. My favorite book of all time was Angels and Demons by Dan Brown. No one expects me to say it, but like, this is not a business book, it's not whatever, but I've never been so like taken somewhere with a book, if that makes sense. And so
I'm gonna read that.
I love that. My favorite business book. Did you want a business book?
Sure.
Okay, well, I have a whole list for you don't have to subscribe or anything. I have a whole list on jessie.com. There's no email opt-in, but anybody can go and just grab a whole bunch of them. But I am obsessed with basically any and everything John Maxwell. I really have always been. And 21 Irrefutable Laws is probably my number one jam. Like anytime I'm feeling like I gotta reel myself back in before I snap on these people. I love me some 21 Irrefutable Laws. It's definitely one of my favorite.
I like one of his quotes. It's entrepreneurship or life, people, like, I think people get scared, he said, because the car lights only shine 300 feet ahead. And so, but you got to travel 2 miles so you don't know what's ahead. It's something like that. It was one of my favorite quotes I read by him. Anyways.
I've worked with him
Really?
pretty closely. I was part of faculty and stuff, and he's the real deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's the real.
Last question we always ask everybody. What is your definition of generational wealth?
Oh, I mean, well, that's pretty obvious, right? I mean, really, does anybody have like a different definition of it? I mean, generational wealth is I'm long gone. I'm the Pocahontas for my family. I'm the George Washington of my family. You know, all these people out here are really out there talking about how I'm related to Napoleon Bonaparte. Really? Like, why don't you even know your great grandmother's name? Because she didn't create generational wealth. She didn't create generational impact. So for me, not only the income, but the impact that for generations and generations and generations and generations and generations, people are talking about me and what I've done for the world and for our family. Because I broke the generational curse of debt and of poverty. Now it's my job to create wealth so that nobody that is ever attached to my bloodline ever struggles the way I did.
I love that. That was probably the best definition I've ever.
That was good. That was very powerful. I mean, honestly, we have to end on that because it was like, bam, drop the mic, throw it down. Exit the stage to your right or left. Don't run over the curtain.
Oh, I love it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the richest homeless person you'll ever meet. Jessie Lee, thanks for coming on. That was awesome. We appreciate the time. You're badass.
Tell everybody where they can find you real quick.
Oh, yeah, you can find me everywhere as, you can type in Jessie Lee Ward, probably on Google, it'll go crazy, but Facebook's Jessie Lee Ward, Instagram's IMBOSSLEE, TikTok, IMBOSSLEE, and then my podcast is The People's Mentor.
Love it.
Cool.
Thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Appreciate you guys.
Okay.
Have a good one.